Hi, and welcome to the LB0 Fox India YouTube channel. I'm Martin, LB0 Fox India. And about a week ago, I posted on Twitter and on YouTube that I was planning to make this video about 5 things that I wish I'd known before I got licensed. And also 1 thing that I'm happy that I didn't know. And as you can see, the response was overwhelming on it. I'd like to go through some of my thoughts upon this, and if you're not licensed, this might be relevant. If you are licensed, there'll be a recognition factor in this. So let's play the intro, and I'll be right back with number 5. Number 5, don't buy everything you think you need right at once. Because amateur radio is a hobby of 1,000 hobbies. Might turn out that you're interested in HF radio, you bought all kinds of expensive VHF, UHF gear. Might be that you'd like to go portable and operate portable, and you bought a really expensive radio for your shack that's not really suitable for taking out portable. Might be that you want to do satellite work. You might want to do CW. It's such a broad hobby. You don't even need to operate the radio. You can just build things. So my best advice here is join a club, get to know other hams, and borrow equipment. They'll be less expensive in the long run. Then you can try out the equipment. You can tag along on different kind of amateur radio activities and find the little niche in this narrow hobby that really interests you. There is no do everything in this hobby. It is a hobby of 1,000 hobbies. So you'll soon figure out what interests you at the moment and pursue that aspect of the hobby. So number 5 is don't buy everything you think you need at once. On to number 4, continuing on the same theme. Don't trust the antenna manufacturer's marketing department. There is no such thing as a all band antenna with a lot of gain. It's just not physically possible. The closest thing you're going to get to that, and probably your best bet as a beginner antenna, is an end-fed half wave, which covers several bands. So get yourself, either buy one or build one, an end-fed half wave, get it up into a tree, and start playing radio. Learn that way. So number 4 is there is no do-it-all antenna. The closest thing you're going to get to that is an end-fed half wave. And as you progress in the hobby, you might want to look at other antennas. Which brings us on to point number 3, a really short point. Learn how to solder. You're gonna need it because, well, that brings us on to point number 2. Number 2 is don't be afraid to experiment and build things. You are gonna start building things. You will build your first antenna, whether it's a dipole, as most people build as their first antennas, or it's a Yagi linked up here, as I did for my first antenna. You're going to build things. If you watch my channel, or if you check out my older videos, you can see several different builds for beginners. And it's just not just antennas either, it's radios. Go on eBay, buy a Pixie, build it, not because you're going to use it, but because it's an excellent way of experimenting. Number 2 is don't be afraid to build and experiment. Which brings us on to point number 1, which is a ham radio license is not a license to necessarily operate the radio. There are several different radio services depending on where in the world you are that lets you do that with a lot less effort. It is a license to learn and experiment and figure out how the RF world works. It's about finding out how long you can reach with your signal, with how much or how little power you need. It's about building stuff. It's about learning stuff. The license is just the lesser common denominator of what you need to be able to do things within the ham spectrum. So go get yourself a license if you're not, but it's not going to be what you initially thought it was. And now on to the point where it's about what I'm happy that I didn't know. And that is, it's gonna be more expensive than you think. I got this radio as my first radio, the Anytone 878, and I figured that was all I needed to be a ham. Turned out that that was wrong. Also got a lot of other different and really not that good but expensive equipment. So that's back to the point of joining a club. Lend equipment until you know what aspects of the hobby really interest you. So that was all I had, and thanks for listening to my little ramble here. Please do like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, 7-3.